Hi guys, welcome to Birth Tip Tuesday with the Birth Deck, where we go over one technique from the 50 Ways to Comfort a Woman in Labor illustrated in the Birth Deck. We have 4 categories: the massage category, the mindfulness category, our movement category, and our support techniques. And the support category is the catch-all for techniques that don't fit specifically in one of the other categories, and that includes some of our breathwork techniques, as well as our hypnosis scripts, some visualizations, and some other tips and tricks. Today we're going over breath pattern. A few weeks ago, about a month ago, we went over a cleansing breath card. Now, the cleansing breath is a very intuitive, clearing breath that you take. You don't overthink it. It's breathe in, it's breathe out and let it go. Whereas this card is anything but intuitive. The entire idea is to take a pattern and actually breathe to a very specific pattern. So you'll see here that we've got some peaks and some valleys, as well as a general curve of how the breath should move through your body as you reach a crescendo in your breathwork patterning, and then you come down and let that pattern resolve towards the end and let it kind of slow down and work itself out. Now, why would we use a breath pattern and think more about breathing? For a lot of us, and really this is an ancient practice, using a really specific breath pattern can be deeply grounding and calming. And that's because in moments where we have a lot of adrenaline, which unfortunately some of us do in labor, that's a whole other conversation around why we have so much fear in labor. But for those of us who go into labor feeling a lot of fear and adrenaline, it can be really grounding to have something that kind of takes the guesswork out of breath and gives us something to anchor to and to focus on when we're feeling a little bit scared or out of control. Now, the fear usually comes during a contraction, especially towards the peak of a contraction, which is one of the reasons why I really appreciate this pattern specifically, because this line represents the peak of the contraction and then the resolution of the contraction. So when I say resolution, I mean when it starts to come down off of its intensity and when the muscles start to relax. Okay, because every time your uterus contracts, it will then relax for a break in between contractions. Now, I'm going to read from the back so you can better understand what this pattern is. Breath pattern. If you notice Mama's breath becoming fast, high-pitched, or if she is holding her breath, then use this diagram to help her focus her attention outside of her body and bring awareness back to her breath. Follow this breath pattern with Mama. So you're gonna do it too. At the same time as you're saying it, you're also then gonna be doing it. Coach her by telling her when to breathe in and when to breathe out. Some women prefer to follow visual cues. Show her the diagram if she wants to follow along with the picture. Here's a variation. Try counting her breaths at the peak of each breath in. And so there are numbers here if you wanna breathe in 1, breathe out, breathe in 2. Okay, so there are various ways that you can use this card, but it's all is described on the back and you don't need to overthink it, okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions about breath work. There are so many different patterns that you can do. And if this is something kind of like the hypnosis that we talked about 6 weeks ago, that can be an entire relaxation and comfort practice that you actually work on your entire labor before you get there. Lamaze has a very specific kind of breath patterning. There are all different kinds of techniques. So let me know if you guys have questions. I'll see you next week.